Ah, yes, finally. A Disney live action movie that features an outstanding woman lead character who also falls in love with a man that supports her in her journey to self enlightenment, and all the while shows us some magnificent action sequences, hysterical jokes, great support characters, and a villain that wants to conquer the world because his dynasty was ruined. It's too good to be true, but we got it. It's here. We have it. Mulan 2020, it's directed by Niki Caro and it stars a pretty solid lineup of Asian descent and Chinese American actors, including Li Fei Yu, Donnie Yen, Jason Scott Lee, Yo Son An, Gong Li, and Jet Li, amongst still other cast members as well. This is the latest Disney live action remake coming out onto Disney Plus due to the COVID-19 shutdown of theaters worldwide and just leaving this film with no other option but to really release on a streaming platform rather than saving itself for a future theatrical release. This film could have easily gone the wrong route if it wanted to and hired a cast of people that don't even fit the source material, such as Dragon Ball Evolution. But I divulge because this film does have plenty of other problems. The entirety of this film production really has gone through hell and back due to numerous disputes, and let me go ahead and just bring up some of these really quick just because they really should be addressed for informational purposes when you're going into this viewing. So Mulan has suffered from various controversies, including the lead actress sharing a photo online that many considered her to be in the support of the ongoing Hong Kong protests. The filming site itself taking place in the province of Xinjiang, where, if you're not aware, is also the current location of internment camps that's currently hosting over 1 million ethnically Turkic citizens that are being held and massacred. Furthermore, also acknowledging the location by calling Xinjiang Northwest China in the credits. They don't incorporate Chinese subtitles while still having plenty of other languages for subtitles. The executive decision to remove Captain Li Zhang as part of the Me Too movement and then still being ultimately shamed for removing a highly respected bisexual film character. The film in general being directed by a white person rather than an Asian one, and in general just seemingly just bending over backwards for Disney just in order to try and appeal to everyone from the West to the East and still not finding at least some sort of happy medium. And like I said, I think it's important to note those things and keep them in consideration for your own viewing, just because I do believe there were a lot of creative choices and decisions that followed suit with the final version of this film that could have been basically much drastic and different if these development intricacies were not part of the film. What's hilarious too is them addressing these controversies and shrugging it off, kind of like, why can't we make everyone happy when all you have to do is just make a similar story with fun characters, exhilarating action sequences, and a prominent, interesting female lead. Anyways, let's move forward and go on to the actual film itself. So Mulan is the story of Hua Mulan, which itself is from an old Chinese written record named The Ballad of Mulan, but of course most of us have come to know the character from the original Disney animation from 1998. The animated film is definitely a beloved Disney vault classic with great charisma, perfect pacing, brilliant animation, and a film that really teaches kids and parents alike valuable life lessons altogether. That's not the case here. The film isn't totally bad, but it's not good either. Some of the biggest gripes with Mulan is that it removes so many elements of the animated film that it's trying to mimic, and not only that, but it also replaces those characters and elements with things that don't end up functioning well, or they're heavily underutilized or just plain forgettable. Some of those things include the replacement of Li Zhang with two commanding officers who we don't even really see teach the garrison much other than yell a couple things and just tell them to climb up a mountain with 2 buckets. But I will give Donnie Yen some praise because he does have some excellent sword fighting technique that he shows off when he slices and dices some enemies by the numbers. That was actually kind of cool to see. But still, they replace Zhang with Chen Honghuai, and no disrespect to the actor on this, but I think he does as much as he can given his limited role and lines, but he's so boring, so boring. And there's a funny interaction between him and Mulan where she's finally taking her first bath while she's still undercover as a man, and he goes into the lake himself and he gets closer and closer to her until she finally tells him just flat out go away, and he seems so hurt just to be curved by a man that he just walks out like, what were you gonna do? Were you gonna waddle over and kiss him or something? Don't incorporate the legendary and beloved Mushu, and while I don't take offense when I first heard of it, plenty of others did, I don't mind when a film tries to switch something up because that's what makes a film more interesting, more original if it's done right. But here, instead of Mushu, they gave us a phoenix that literally does not a single thing but come on screen and fly like a kite. It comes into frame at the strangest moments too, like it should have just stayed home and ate some pigeon feed. What else? Oh yeah, so now they give us 2 villains instead of 1. So we have Boricon, who's Shan Yu's equivalent, replacement here, but they also incorporate Jin Yang, who's a newcomer that's an uber powerful witch. Boricon disrespects the witch an incredible amount, which is kind of weird because she's portrayed and shown to be this, again, very powerful being who early on in all her scenes, she's literally cutting through enemy lines like butter. And they have to do a typical change of heart scenario because why not? Women have to rule together, right? And that's fine. I'm not hating on that. I'm hating on the fact that, again, she's uber powerful and she just dies from this one single arrow shot from Boricon when earlier on she's this invincible, ominous superhuman. Like, come on, at least follow the same thing that you're doing and have her maybe fight by Mulan's side or something at the end if you're gonna go that route. But no, instead they just cut her out in such a stupid way. Jet Li has got to be the most underused character I've seen for a minute as his role of Emperor of China. The man is, one of the most profound and incredibly talented martial artists of any given time, and all he does is just sit in a golden chair and then get tied up. Are you serious? Why did you even give him that role? And what's ironically funny to me too upon my watch is that I recognize Jason Scott Lee, who plays Boricon, and I recognize him from another role, which was from Balls of Fury. And his role in that movie itself is very small, yet I was able to distinguish him here and not Jet Li. I didn't even recognize Jet Li was the Emperor until I looked him up afterwards in the cast because he's not doing anything. You might as well have traded these two guys, and no disrespect to either actor on this, of course, but at least you could have made Jet Li a similar movie villain to how they did him in the Mummy 3. Even though the third Mummy installment wasn't all that great either, at least they knew how to incorporate and use Jet Li properly. But another huge con for me is, oh my god, why is this movie going so fast? The beginning moves super quickly, then it slows down a little bit during the training sessions, but everything right after they get out and try to find Boricon is just so fast. It's like Speedy Gonzalez was directing this film and it's like, andale, let's wrap up this movie as fast as we can so we can get it out and make some more money as fast as we can. The final battle had no time to breathe. The movie has no time to breathe. There's no time for emotional development. There's no time for exploration of Mulan's character. And that's the final complaint I want to just address with this is Mulan, is she's just so plain. In the original animated film, she fights against the patriarchy system and sexism that wars and women struggled against for so long. Here, she just moves along from plot point to plot point with no actual interesting transformation. She literally takes off her armor though at one point and lets her hair fly and everything. I guess that's Disney's equivalent of saying, here you go guys, she's reformed now. Like, are you serious? Blah, whatever though. I don't want to just endlessly roast this film because it's gotten enough for me at this point. On the pros at least, I will say the action sequences do have some flair to them. There's some cool, neat rotational shots that they do, and the stunts and kills are actually so kind of like ooh and ah worthy. The production design is huge, and I mean, after all, they had a $200 million budget, so I hope to God at least they made that work. And they did. It looked pretty. It looked pretty culturally relevant. There's some quality funny moments though as well during the training portion of the film, where between the main troops that we have as well as from Yao, Ling, and Xian Po. So kudos to them. First act is probably the most well-formed of the whole entirety of film, where we get to see Mulan and her family, and it's all pretty spick and span. We have some interesting exchanges. We really get to know Mulan and her family a little bit. All things considered though, this is not the Mulan any of us really wanted. It tries to incorporate some changes compared to the Lion King remake, where it literally went scene from scene for the original film, but it doesn't work. If you want to watch it though, it's worth checking out if you do dig the original version, but it's definitely not worth no $30. I don't know what the marketing team was thinking when they decided on that pricing, but to pay $30 on a movie that you don't even own outright because you have to continuously pay Disney Plus as a streaming service or you'll lose the movie, and you don't even own a tangible copy of it for $30, and it's not even that good of a movie? This is more of a Redbox rental than anything, and I think I'll leave it up to you if any of you really do want to ponder if it's worth your hard-earned cash or not. I give the 2020 Mulan Copycat a 4.5, and I really hope that Disney executives really start looking more into like making some new stuff, making something new and original for once. Not everything needs to be made into a live action remake, but we're still going to get more because they don't care and people pay enough. I mean, Lion King made $1.6 billion, so soon enough we might even be seeing Oliver and Company live action. Who knows at this point, because people will pay.